All right, let's talk about something that sounds super formal, but is actually all about a very human problem, a broken promise. We're going to break down exactly what a breach of contract is and what it means for you.
You know the feeling, right? You hire someone for a project and they just disappear. Or you agree to buy something and the seller suddenly backs out. It's incredibly frustrating and probably something we've all run into.
Well, that sinking feeling, it actually has a name in the legal world. It's called a breach. Simple as that. It's the official lingo for when someone doesn't hold up their end of the bargain.
And here's the textbook definition, but it's really not that complicated. A breach of contract is just when somebody fails to do what they promised to do in a binding agreement. That's it, a failure to perform.
Okay, but here's where things get really interesting. It's not just that the promise was broken that matters. The law is actually super focused on when it was broken. And that little detail, the timing, changes everything. It actually splits a breach into two totally different types.
So let's start with the first type, which I call the on-the-clock breach. This is probably the one you're most familiar with. It's all about what happens right when that deadline hits. The official term for this is an actual breach. It's a failure to do your part right when you were supposed to. Think about it. The day your new website is supposed to be delivered, and it's not. Or the date a payment is due, and the money's not in your account. That's an actual breach.
So for an actual breach, it all comes down to that specific moment in time. The clock strikes midnight on the due date, and the thing that was promised hasn't happened. The failure is happening right now, on or after the deadline. It's a failure in the present moment.
Now, for the second type, this one's a little different. It's kind of like looking into a crystal ball and seeing the future. That's why we're calling it the crystal ball breach. It happens before the deadline even gets here.
And boom, right there is the huge difference. The magic word here is before. An anticipatory breach is when someone straight up tells you they're not going to be able to keep their promise ahead of schedule.
Now, you can't just have a hunch. This isn't about a bad feeling. You need real proof. It has to be a clear, unmistakable signal that they're backing out. So this could be an email that says, "Sorry, I can't finish that website for you." Or it could be an action, like you find out they sold the very thing they promised to sell to you to someone else. It's a definite sign they're going to break the contract.
Okay, let's recap. We've got two kinds of breaches. One that happens on the clock, and one you can see coming in your crystal ball. Let's just put them side by side so this is absolutely crystal clear. And there you have it. It honestly is that simple. The entire difference just boils down to one simple question. Did the failure happen before the deadline, or did it happen on or after it? One is a problem right now, the other is a confirmed problem for the future. So what? Why does this timing matter so much? Well, here's the payoff. Because knowing which type of breach you're dealing with, that's what gives power to the innocent party. You know, the person who is actually counting on that promise being kept. And here's the really crucial part. Whether it's an actual breach or an anticipatory one, the result for you, the person on the receiving end of the broken promise, is exactly the same. The law gives you two immediate and very powerful options.
So what are your options? Let's break it down. First, you can treat the contract as if it's over, done, canceled. You're free. And second, you can immediately start going after your legal remedies, which usually means suing for damages to make up for whatever loss you suffered because of that broken promise.
And that right there is the big takeaway. See, with an actual breach, you have to sit there and wait for the deadline to come and go. But with an anticipatory breach, you don't have to wait around for the train wreck you know is coming. The second they make it clear they're not going to perform, you can take action. So that kind of leaves us with one final thought. Imagine that freelancer tells you today they can't deliver the website that's due next month. Do you cancel the contract right now and find someone new? Or do you wait it out, hoping they might just change their mind? Knowing the difference gives you the choice. And that, right there, is a pretty powerful place to be. Thanks for tuning in.